The film begins with a man named Boyce, his face heavily scarred, breaking the fourth wall to address the audience directly. This is no fairy tale, he warns, there are no happy endings.
There are no happy endings.
Earth has become the Lost Lands, a desolate dystopian wasteland ravaged by ancient wars. Death once rained from the sky, leaving behind a brutal landscape populated by twisted creatures lurking in the shadows. What remains of humanity survives in a single fortified city ruled by the Overlord, with order maintained by the Church's iron fist. The story begins with a witch named Grey Alice, also called Alice or Grey in different accounts, being publicly executed for heresy. The Enforcer, a ruthless leader of the Church's militant wing, uses Grey as an example of what happens to those who defy the Church.
No one shall defy the Church.
The Enforcer publicly declares Grey the devil incarnate before kicking away the wooden platform beneath her feet. As Grey dangles and struggles for breath, she uses her powers to manipulate a nearby guard's mind. Locking eyes with him, she casts an illusion that makes him believe he is the one being hanged. Panicked, the guard shoots the rope to save himself, unknowingly freeing Grey. The confused guard thinks he sees her next to him and opens fire, accidentally killing another soldier instead. When the Enforcer learns about this, she kills the bewitched guard and leads her acolytes to hunt down the escaped witch.
To me.
Grey hides in the shadows, ambushing and killing the guards one by one as they search the room. Finally, she captures the Enforcer, holding a knife to her throat. The Enforcer tells her to do it, but instead of giving her a quick death, Grey hangs her in poetic justice. As Grey walks away, the Enforcer curses her, claiming she'll burn in hell. The crowd parts for Grey, chanting the witch that will not hang. Meanwhile, Boyce, without scars, wanders alone on his horse in the Lost Lands, a gun hanging by his saddle. He stops at a tunnel because he can tell he's about to be ambushed. When he says this aloud, a group of men come out of hiding. One of them tries to steal Boyce's gun, however, there's a two-headed snake attached to it that immediately kills him. Boyce quickly draws his twin pistols and takes out the entire gang with precise headshots before they can lay a finger on him. He then holsters his guns, picks up his snake, and calmly rides off, ready for whatever the Lost Lands have in store. Grey finds temporary refuge at an old temple where she leaves some money for a blind witch named Evelyn Hall. The blind woman recognizes Grey immediately because of her kindness, and Grey warmly responds that no matter what happens, she'll always be kind to her. Soon after, Queen Rena, the Overlord's wife, arrives with Jurais, the leader of the Overwatch. The Queen requests a private audience with Grey, asking for privacy and instructing Jurais to leave them alone.
Leave us.
Invoking an ancient pact that obligates Grey to honor her request, the Queen reveals she wants to become something more than human. Specifically, she wants the ability to transform into a wolf. Grey agrees without hesitation, saying, "I refuse no one." When she attempts to warn the Queen of the consequences, Rena dismisses her concerns. Grey informs the Queen that she will need to hire a hunter for the task and that the transformation can only take place under the full moon, 6 days from now. She must journey into the Lost Lands first. After the Queen leaves, Jurais secretly returns and offers Grey his treasured timepiece in exchange for ensuring the Queen's request fails. He swears he's loyal to her but thinks getting this power will destroy her. Grey is skeptical and thinks he's just jealous, but since she refuses nobody, she takes his timepiece as payment, repeating, "I refuse no one." Using her magical abilities, Grey enters a trance to search the minds of others. She locates the Shapeshifter, a deadly creature seen massacring people with brutal force. In her vision, she watches how a group of men tries to fight a huge wolf, but they're all killed in seconds. Meanwhile, at the Overlord's temple, Queen Rena tends to her ailing husband who is now feeble and near death. The Overlord, helpless and humiliated, begs Rena for assistance after soiling himself. Disgusted and resentful, she simply calls in the maids to care for him, clearly tired of having to deal with him. That evening, Queen Rena and Boyce meet in secret and share a kiss, revealing their hidden romantic relationship. Boyce, however, tells her he can't stay with her for now and departs. On his way out, 2 guards confront him and demand he surrender. Quick-thinking Boyce uses a flask of alcohol to set one of them ablaze and knocks the other down before escaping the castle grounds. Grey visits a bar where she finds Boyce. She tells him she only deals in cards. If she wins a game against him, then they can talk. They place a bet, and during the match, Grey skillfully plays her hand and defeats him in the first round.
You ready to talk now?
Leaving Boyce surprised at her card skills, Grey explains she needs a guide to venture into the Lost Lands and seeks Boyce's help. Skeptical, Boyce warns her that the Lost Lands are not for the weak. He explains that beyond the city walls, the laws of man, nature, and even logic cease to exist. Grey proposes a deal: if either of them becomes a burden, they're free to leave the other behind. She reveals her mission: She's searching for a man who can transform into a beast, a shapeshifter, so she can kill him in his lair and claim his power. Boyce acknowledges the tale, saying he's heard of such a creature named Sartor, the Grey Wolf, who dwells near Skull River. He warns her of the extreme danger but ultimately agrees to help, accepting the timepiece she offers as payment to guide her path. Suddenly, the enforcer bursts into the bar with armed acolytes.
Yeah, I don't have many friends.
Me neither.
One of them fires at Gray and Boyce from above, but they dodge the shot. Boyce retaliates by hurling his snake at him to quickly kill him. The body falls and the snake jumps on another soldier's arm, so his partner chops the limb off and the snake gets away. When the snake lunges at the enforcer, she swiftly kills it with her knife. In the chaos, Gray and Boyce escape the city on horseback. At the church, the patriarch, who secretly plans to overthrow both the Overlord and Queen, rallies his followers. He reminds everyone that witches and heretics must be brought to justice. The crowd pretends to be praying while secretly passing around a note about a rebel movement. After Mass, it's revealed that the patriarch knows about the note and notices Gray has become the symbol of the rebellion. Later, the enforcer, working alongside the patriarch, reports that Gray escaped the city with a man. Enraged by the humiliation Gray has brought upon them, the patriarch declares that she must die. The enforcer brings the blind witch Evelyn to the patriarch and steps on her hand until she explains that Jerise and the Queen visited Gray.
And a woman went.
The patriarch sees this connection as a potential scandal and threat to the Queen's position. He orders the enforcer to extract more information from the witch and execute her afterward. In the Lost Lands, Gray and Boyce make camp for the night. Boyce tries to catch a new snake but can't find one that pleases him. While Gray is trying to sleep, Boyce approaches her with a knife, but she awakens just in time, raising her own blade to his throat. He calmly disarms her, only to kill a deadly scorpion that was about to sting her. The next day, Gray and Boyce arrive at a trading post handled by siblings Mara and Ross, who are old friends of Boyce's. Mara kisses Boyce before the duo is invited inside, revealing their romantic relationship. Boyce explains they'll find the shapeshifter in a week, but Gray explains she needs it in a few days, so Boyce decides they'll take a very dangerous shortcut. That night, Boyce and Mara get intimate and lament that they only see each other once a year. They talk about their loneliness and shared past. Boyce opens up about losing his parents and surviving alone in the harsh world of the Lost Lands for days until finding his place.
Boy travels the wasteland.
When the duo leaves in the morning, Boyce warns Gray that the siblings are the only friendly faces in the Lost Lands, and Gray notices a beast skeleton in a cage. "I've got a bad feeling about this," Boyce mutters, surveying the desolate landscape ahead. Meanwhile, the enforcer and all her soldiers have started searching the Lost Lands by train. The Queen goes to see the patriarch since he authorized the use of the train without consulting her, not to mention he sent all the soldiers away and left the city vulnerable. The patriarch says he's heard rumors of her betrayal, but the Queen assures him it's all lies. Later, the patriarch calls the enforcer on the train and tells her he's confirmed the Queen is lying, so they need to catch the witch quickly. If they arrest the Queen for betrayal and the sick overlord dies soon, the patriarch can take control of the city. The enforcer's team reaches the trading post and captures Ross and Mara. They torture them for information on Boyce and Gray's destination. As Ross is branded with a hot iron, Mara breaks and reveals they were headed to Skull River.
River, that's where they're going!
Before leaving, they kill Ross, burn down their trading post, and take Mara with them as bait. 3 days before the full moon, Gray and Boyce reach the Rift, a city in ruins full of chasms. They enter an old building with a cable car, and Boyce looks for the driver, Sirius, who will give anybody a ride for money. The man doesn't answer when Boyce calls his name, so the duo starts searching the building. Sadly, they discover that the driver has been hanged, which means the soldiers got there first. When the duo tries to leave, the enforcer and her men surround them. Now recognizing Boyce, the enforcer coldly reveals that she killed Sirius, deeming him useless. She warns Gray that her tricks won't work this time. They've come prepared with their faces shielded to prevent her from using her illusion powers on them. The enforcer demands Boyce hand over Gray, threatening that refusal means death for them both.
Give us the witch, or you both die.
They're willing to let Boyce go if he gives them Gray and show Mara's body as proof they're serious. At that moment, Mara wakes up and says Boyce's name, so the enforcer shoots her to kill her for good, enraging Boyce. Gray and Boyce go on a rampage, taking down several guards. Gray slides ahead to strike a soldier down and steal his guns. She opens fire, and by working together, she and Boyce quickly kill all the men surrounding them. Unfortunately, there's a horde of soldiers hiding on the train, and now they come out to join the fight. Just as a second wave of soldiers charges at them, Boyce attempts to reach the enforcer, but more guards keep blocking his path. Gray grabs him, urging their escape. The enforcer throws an explosive their way, but they manage to escape under fire. As they leap into a cable car, Boyce hits the spring to send it moving. Midway through the ride, more guards leap onto the cable car. A brutal fight breaks out as Boyce and Gray fend them off, some guards making it aboard while others fall to their deaths. Inside the car, the pair continue battling, tossing enemies off one by one. Gray moves fast to defeat most of them and makes a big jump on the edge of the car to force the last guy to follow her. Now she can just chop his hand off to make him fall. Inside the car, Boyce also fights hand to hand with a few remaining soldiers. Suddenly, gunfire rains from above. The enforcer opens fire and hits Boyce's shoulder while he's still in the car. Seeing her men being defeated, the enforcer makes a soldier cut the cables. The car now hangs on a side, and Gray has to use her blades to hold on. Boyce breaks a window to make another soldier fall. Then the enforcer shoots the other cable, and the car goes down, sliding through a building before crashing against the side of a chasm. Gray and Boyce begin climbing the rocky wall and manage to leave the car right before it falls. The enforcer opens fire and hits Boyce's shoulder while he's still climbing, but Gray has already reached the top and uses her powers to keep the enforcer distracted through the sniper's lens, confusing her and giving them a chance to vanish.
Why didn't you finish me?
With no way to cross, the enforcer and her followers are forced to take a longer route. That night, Boyce removes the bullet from the wound and Gray stitches it up. Grateful, Boyce thanks Gray for saving him. He pours alcohol on his wound, digs out the bullet himself, and asks Gray to stitch him up before passing out from the pain. When he wakes, she's already done so. She gives him a drink and apologizes for the deaths of his friends. Boyce shares that he enjoys traveling in the Lost Lands, it's the only place that ever felt like home. Before they fall asleep, they watch the colors and lightning in the sky of the Lost Lands. 2 days before the full moon, Queen Rena discovers she's pregnant. She knows the father is Boyce but pretends it's the Overlord's. Now that she has an heir to secure the throne, she tells the bedridden Overlord that she's carrying a child, but not his. She reveals the baby belongs to Boyce. Without hesitation, she smothers the Overlord with a pillow, killing him. She rings the bell and walks away calmly. Meanwhile, Gray and Boyce reach Shadows Bay, an area that fills with demons at night. However, they can hear the enforcer's train coming for them, so they have no choice but to stay here. They hide inside a cooling tower and destroy a bunch of cans to spill gas on the ground. When night falls, the lights in the tower are turned on, and a demon tries to attack them. Boyce throws a lighter on the gas to create a ring of fire that surrounds him and Gray. Monsters fear the flames. As night falls and the light fades, tree-like monsters emerge from the dark. Gray and Boyce reignite the flames to keep them at bay, but more creatures close in. The demons bring a metal plank and put it on top of the fire to create a bridge, so Boyce blocks them by kicking a gas can and shooting it. A demon jumps as the can explodes and tackles Boyce to attack him, but Gray pulls him back by stabbing it with her blades. When the demon twists his body to try to catch her, Gray has to jump and fight it hand to hand. Boyce tackles the creature and impales it on a metal rod while Gray throws a blade at another gas tank. This time the explosion is bigger and gets the attention of the demon leader, who is watching from the top of the tower with its minions. They jump down and tackle both humans. The leader recognizes Gray and tells her she shouldn't have come back to this place. Gray stares into his eyes and uses illusion magic to deceive him. She creates an illusion that sends a bunch of birds after him, making the demons think they are engulfed in flames. The leader calls off the attack, and the creatures retreat. Gray tells Boyce the truth, the creature once came to her seeking power. Because she refuses no one, she granted it, but it came at a cost. He and his followers were transformed into monsters. She explains it wasn't real, she used an illusion to make the demons think they were on fire, and they died of a placebo effect. She reveals there's a big treasure full of power hidden there, and many years ago, a man hired her to steal it. However, this place is so corrupted that it transformed the man and his minions into the demons they encountered. The next day, the patriarch announces that the Overlord is dead, but the queen is pregnant, so the baby shall be the new Overlord. The citizens don't react, so Jirai shoots a bullet in the air to make the crowd chant in favor of the queen and her child. Afterward, the patriarch bends the knee to the queen, promising to advise her well. However, in private, he insults her and calls the enforcer to tell her to hurry. The queen is also making plans and kisses Jirai to manipulate him, hoping to use his army for her personal goals. He and the queen then begin their own affair. One day before the full moon, at the fire fields, Boyce and Gray arrive. Boyce tells her that by tomorrow, they'll reach Skull River. Gray reveals she must face the wolf alone, but Boyce insists she won't survive it. She hands him the timepiece and urges him to leave. Boyce refuses, trying to convince her to abandon this path, but Gray says she has no choice. The following day, Boyce and Gray are crossing a tunnel when they hear the train approaching. Since they can't outrun it, they make a plan. Gray stands on the rails and waits for the train to be close enough before she starts running. The enforcer immediately makes the train chase after her, not realizing it's a trap. Gray guides it to a broken rail and jumps at the last second so Boyce can catch her. The train can't stop and falls into the abyss, causing an explosion that kills the enforcer and all her men. When the Patriarch learns about this, he tries to assemble his guard to take the throne by force. However, Jarais and his army suddenly surround him. As the Patriarch tries to retaliate, Jarais stabs him. Jarais then orders his men to execute the Patriarch. They stab him repeatedly before walking away, leaving the Queen as the only leader in the city. Finally, on the night of the full moon, Gray and Boyce arrive at Skull River, an area covered in the bones of the wolf's victims. They search an old building and find signs someone is living there, but not a person in sight. Boyce shows her signs that the wolf has already been there and may still be close, especially with the full moon rising tonight. He tells her it's not too late to leave, that he could face the wolf alone. But Gray insists it's far too late to turn back now. Back at the Overlord's temple, Jarais reassures the Queen, saying Gray fulfilled her promise, but the Queen replies, not everything. At Skull River, Gray prepares for the fight. She outfits herself with silver claws and weapons, ready to battle the wolf. Boyce warns her that silver won't work, many have tried and failed. He begs her not to go through with it, but she says there's no other option.
Don't do this.
As the rain begins to fall, Gray senses the wolf's approach. It turns out there was never a creature called Sartor. As the full moon emerges, Gray draws her weapon. Boyce begins his transformation, telling her she shouldn't have come. It turns out he was the shapeshifter all along, and Gray thinks he agreed to guide her to bring her here and kill her. Silver fuses with his blood as he turns into a massive wolf. Boyce's body grows in size, and his clothes are destroyed as he finishes becoming a huge wolf. Gray hurls the timepiece at him before she starts fighting him with her silver claws, but Boyce is clearly stronger and easily throws her around. Then Gray creates an illusion that sends a bunch of birds after him, allowing her to hide. When Boyce jumps to attack the big bird, the illusion ends and reveals Gray stabbing him with the claws. She slashes him with her silver blade. She wounds him severely, weakening him as the full moon fades behind clouds and Boyce returns to human form. Gray tells him to rest, he's too weak while the moon is covered. When he wakes up, Boyce finds himself chained to the ground. Confused, he asks why. Gray tells him she isn't afraid, she's learned all his weaknesses and has poisoned his blood with silver by hiding some silver under his skin when she stitched his wound earlier. She says his fate was sealed the day they met. As she prepares to kill him, Boyce begs for one final wish. Since she never refuses anyone, he asks that they hunt, fight, live, and be together to end their loneliness. As the full moon rises once more, Boyce starts transforming again. Gray agrees while pointing out there's a price. Gray plunges a blade into his chest under the moonlight, skins his wolf body, and buries the remains. She leaves the timepiece at his grave and takes his wolf skin, riding off on horseback. Sometimes the hunter becomes the hunted, Gray mutters to herself as she rides away with her grim trophy, and sometimes both are just pawns in a larger game. She arrives at the city where the freed slaves chant her name, the witch that will not hang, and down with the Overlord.
Down with the Overlord! Down with the church!
Some guards try to calm them down to no avail. Soon the church's giant cross is brought down by the rebels. As the slaves destroy the church, Gray travels to the Overlord's temple and gives the wolf skin to Jarais, instructing him to deliver it to the Queen. She must cut herself, drip her blood on the skin, and wear it before sunrise when the lunar cycle ends. Jarais accuses Gray of failing him and demands the return of his timepiece. But Gray refuses, claiming she earned it. She tells him he already got what he wanted, Queen Rena. With Boyce dead, no one stands in Jarais' way now. Gray explains she's killed the Queen's lover, and now Jarais can have her, which was his real wish. Later, the Queen has a breakdown when she realizes the skin belongs to dead Boyce. Her goal had always been to become a beast to be with him, but Jarais points out Boyce corrupted her. The Queen realizes he's betrayed her and takes a hairpin to stab Jarais in the neck, killing him. With the Overlord dead, a rebellion breaks out. Slaves clash with the guards in a brutal battle for survival. The guards' bullets can't do anything against such a huge amount of people. The Queen flees before they can reach her. As the sun rises, Boyce's fur burns, and the flame trails toward his grave. The ground trembles, and Boyce is resurrected. His grave starts shaking as the ash from the burning pelt falls to the ground. Sometime later, a resurrected Boyce finds Gray in her chamber with the intention to kill her for her betrayal. Gray reveals she always knew he was the Queen's lover and believed his resurrection would trigger a revolution. She also knew the Queen would never wear the skin, causing her downfall. Boyce tries to shoot anyway, but his gun fails, so he attacks with a knife instead. Gray dodges it, and they end up with their blades on each other's necks. They hold knives to each other's throats, but instead of killing one another, they choose to join forces. When Gray reminds him this is what he wished for, Boyce agrees.
And isn't this what we wished for?
And now the duo leaves together to travel through the lost lands, hunting, surviving, and fighting together, two lonely souls finding unlikely companionship in a brutal world.